Well, hello and welcome to Yellow Flag FPL, the podcast where all of our opinions should be yellow flagged. My name is Harry.
And I'm Stephen Berry.
And on this week's pod, Stephen, Sunderland win yet again. Forest look terrible. Man United get beaten. I think it's probably the same old, isn't it? But we're going to talk about some things that have been interesting in the game week that has just been, game week 6. But before we go into the fixtures that we want to talk about, Stephen, how was your week?
It was good, but it should have been great. I didn't triple captain Haaland because of the injury concern. I didn't see in time the leak that everybody else got that he was guaranteed to start. Anyway, wasn't to be. My biggest mistake, though, this isn't even a hindsight thing, it's just stupidity. I started Gyökeres over Gabriel. Now, obviously, he getting the goal is luck, but what's stupid from my side is, what was more likely, Gabriel getting DEFCONs or Gyökeres getting a goal or assist? Obviously, Gabriel getting DEFCONs in that game. So that was a very stupid decision for me. I'm not even going to try to defend that. And the punishment of having 13 points on my bench is what I deserve. So I ended up, 50% over the average, but could have and should have been a lot more. But nevertheless, a good game week nonetheless.
And what was your final score?
I got 66, I think, in the end. 66, I believe. Nice, yes, nice. 66. So yeah, that's what 40% above the average, something like that.
Yeah, well, you did one better than me, and I was on wildcard. My defence was leaky, to say the least, apart from the mighty Roof, as the Sunderland faithful like to call him. 10 points in goal away to Forest. He made some incredible saves in that game. I was watching towards the end. It was going pretty mental. I was a bit disappointed. I mean, Isak started, didn't do anything. Saka started, didn't do anything. Semenyo got the goal, which is a bit weird goal actually. Maybe we can talk about that a bit later. Gameweek 7 points on my bench. That was upsetting. I had Calafiore. I took Gabriel out.
So no!
Yeah, just to save that extra 0.3. I'm pretty disappointed about that. But overall, I think I'm pretty happy. Going into next week, Ekatike's yellow or orange flagged, I think. So I think that probably means that Isak does start. He only played 30 minutes in the week against Galatasaray, so I think that means he probably will. Saka's away to at home to West Ham. Haaland away to Brentford. There's some nice fixtures in there for me. The big question I put out there is, who do I start, Gameweek or Van der Ven? Van der Ven away to Leeds or Gameweek away to Everton? This is what I don't know what to do, to be honest. Difficult one. But I'm going to start Nick Pope in goal, who's got Nottingham Forest at home. Chris Wood is returning to his rightful place in terms of form, and therefore I'm hoping that won't bite me in the arse, to be honest. But I'm pretty sure that means that he should be. He's like top scorer for goalkeepers, I think, Nick Pope, which is pretty mental.
No, didn't Ropes just overtake him?
Oh, he might have done, yeah. So I've got the 2 points toppers for goalkeepers. But cool, let's talk about some of the games. I wanted to talk about Palace Liverpool, just because it's a phenomenal result for Palace and really shows. There's questions of, will they do a Leicester? I'm not sure they will necessarily, but I think there's some interesting points in there. Sarr got on the score sheet again. He's a great player, and I think for 6.5, he's definitely probably up there as one of a really good solid pick. They had the XG for Palace was 1.6, so they were about right in terms of the result. And even though Liverpool had loads of possession, they didn't really do a great deal with it. And I was going to ask you a question, Stephen. Do you think there is a trajectory because I think in this game, right, you need to really be on it to beat Palace. You really need to be on it because they've had a strong start. They've got a great manager, some really good players in there as well. Do we think it was Liverpool were bad or Palace were good?
I think a bit of both. So I actually watched the first half of Palace Liverpool, but switching between that and the Ryder Cup, I'll be completely honest. But I did see that, and then the first half. The word battering doesn't even come into it. Alisson had to make some absolutely worldy saves. You could criticise some of the Palace finishing as well. I can't remember who it was, but there's one where he really should put it into the top corner. He put it to the side and fluffed it. But Palace were just all over them. It wasn't just chances, it was big chance after big chance. And not only that, it was lovely football. It was quick, it was one touch. Like, it was really, really good. I mean, you mentioned doing a Leicester. I mean, I think we're not there yet, but if I was to say this, if you're wildcarding, triple Palace. I think you have to. Like, if I was going to wildcard now, I would have 100% a triple Palace because A, they look good, and also because of their price. Gay is currently a bargain right now. Sarr, I mean, actually, you've jumped the gun. Sarr was going to be my recommendation later on, but he's a bargain. Mateta's even a bargain right now. He hasn't quite got the returns just yet this season. But you've got to remember, Palace had a very, very difficult start. I looked, I think it's from game week 9 or 10, I can't remember. Their run is absolutely glorious, where they're just going to haul points. But even then, yeah, they're getting points against Liverpool. They're getting points against difficult teams. So I think Palace are very, very good. And I'm saying this now. I think Champions League football is not beyond them. What their manager has done is phenomenal. Liverpool, that being said, were not great. They haven't been great this season. I mean, like I said,
this is the thing. Like, I wonder whether the sort of demise of I don't want to say demise of Salah, but the slowing down of Salah's impact on games has directly correlated to Liverpool not looking necessarily as fine-tuned in attack. Is there something to be said for that, or is it just like in general? I don't know, like not a bad day in the office, or what? What do you think it is?
I think the issue is primarily actually the number 10 role. Wirtz has just been dreadful.
Yeah, disaster, really.
And yeah, he has been really poor. And he also, Slot doesn't know his starting 11. Is it Gakpo? Is it Szoboszlai? Like, that doesn't help either, especially in the modern era where players are so well coached into a certain formation with players there. So Slot doesn't know his best 11, and you know, the signs were there, right? You can't keep getting last-minute winners. And don't get me wrong, as an Arsenal fan, I was pessimistic about, this is the sign of champions and stuff like that. But for once, stats actually have regressed towards the mean. You can't keep getting last-minute winners. They were very bad against Galatasaray. I watched that game last night. Yeah. Very poor again there. So, yeah, I guess for Liverpool, I mean, that's not... You can write them off at your peril. But I think the one thing for Liverpool from an FPL perspective is what Salah brings you is just a guaranteed starter, but he's got half of Haaland's points. I'm just like, well, is that enough for his price? Probably not. The one to keep an eye on, I'd say, would probably be Szoboszlai, Gakpo. One of those two should start starting more attackingly consistently for them. I don't know which one yet, but let's say it's Szoboszlai is the new number 10 for Liverpool. He's relatively cheap. He'll be quite a good asset to have. But Liverpool, I'm not keen on any of their defenders. Maybe Kerkers. But yeah, for FPL, I don't think any of their players justify their price. Why would you go for a Kerkers over a Calafiore, for example? I don't see why you would. I think I think there's a clear winner there.
Look, I took a punt on Isaac on the basis that Ekitike would be out, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with keeping Isaac. I think for the time being, he's going to retain value. If anything, he's going to go up in value. And you know, if I need to move him on, that's 10 million I can spend somewhere else, and I can shift funds elsewhere. So yeah, but I think we need to really talk a bit more about Palace though, because if you look at I'm just looking at their selected players. The top 3 selected players in their team is Guehi, not surprising. Munoz is second, 12.5%, and then Henderson, 7.8. So it seems like people in the game. Oh, Mateta, is on 10 as well. So, but it seems like people in the game are liking Palace. But Sarr is only 3.9% selected.
Because he was injured, but his value. I mean, you'd also be mad to transfer him before Liverpool. Liverpool criticism aside, he's going to skyrocket. Actually, I don't see why he isn't going to go up very, very quickly in ownership soon. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't. I mean, just again, jumping the gun a little bit. He was actually going to be my transfer in for Palmer. I'm going to go Semenyo instead, just because Palace have. They have a tough fixture next, basically, and Bournemouth have Fulham at home. Who do Palace have? They're away at Everton, so I'm going to hold off there, but Sarr's going to get ownership and money is going to go up with him very, very quickly, I would have thought.
Yeah, he had an XG of 0.75 in the game against Liverpool, got 11 points, which is a crazy return when you think about it. But, before that, he was also scoring as well. So I think that, he's definitely a good pick to consider. So if you're having any Liverpool assets, if you are still one of the few people that own Salah, is it time to sell? If those last bastions of Salah fanatics, are they sort of holding on to hope rather than expectation?
Yeah, I would say so. Again, all of his points have come in last-minute winners. That can't come on forever. Even with that, he's on around half of what Haaland is. The only thing you're really getting for him is that he's guaranteed. He's a guaranteed start of Liverpool in attack. That's not enough for his price. Bearing in mind, Arsenal have a big fixture swing now. Saka, Odegaard, they become a lot more interesting. Palmer's eventually going to come back. The forwards that you want are also quite expensive. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I would be selling him now if I was you. I think he's done what he needed to do. He's got you good enough points. But I think other teams are going to start swinging in a more positive direction, and I think you need to invest your money elsewhere.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I went Saka. He's got a nice fixture run coming up as well. So, cool. Well, let's move on. We've mentioned Arsenal a few times already, Stephen. Well done. Congratulations. I'm assuming you're going to want to talk about the heroics up in the northeast. Last minute winners. Some controversial moments. Gabriel could have been sent off for the arm into Watermaid. Is it Watermaid's face?
Voltamande, I'm not sure if
Voltamande. Yeah. So yes, what do you think of the game? Assets to think about. Have I just made an absolute howler by going for Calafiore, or is there something else to be said?
No, I would say so. So Arsenal's next fixture. So they have West Ham at home next, away at Fulham. Palace at home, so that's now not ideal, but that's okay. Then they are away at Burnley. Then they have it away at Sunderland. Again, not ideal. And then Spurs at home, so guaranteed victory there. So over the next 6 fixtures, they've got lots of opportunity for points, basically. So just quickly on the game, just to be clear, fully deserved. Pope made some ridiculous saves. The ball in the Newcastle goal was actually really, really good. Voltamade, I'm not sure. I think he's a bit expensive on the game, but I think Newcastle also have I think Newcastle from memories fixtures start to turn a little bit as well. They've got Forest, Brighton. Yeah, they're actually wow. That's an unbelievable run. So Newcastle have Forest, Brighton, Fulham, West Ham, Brentford.
That's why I brought Nick Pope.
Can't do much better. Yeah, I mean those 5 fixtures, you're not going to do much better than that. He's won because he was a good header and he did a bit in the game. Okay, Gabriel should have done better, yes, but nevertheless, the fact that Gabriel was a bit worried about him, one of the best centre backs in the league, he's clearly got something about it. I think, obviously, because of how he was signed, like £1 billion at last minute, you just assume this is a panic buy and he's going to be absolutely dog shit. But actually, he looked pretty good in that game outside of the goal, and I think he's going to be okay for Newcastle. So he might be one to consider as if you're looking for a differential. But Arsenal, no, definitely get Arsenal now. Good fixture run. I still back 2 of either Gabriel and Saliba, although Saliba went off injured, but things. So Gabriel's a safe bet, and then one of either Timber or Calafiore, probably Calafiore still, and then one of either Saka or Gyökeres. I think your team needs to have triple Palace, triple Arsenal, and then triple one other team, who I think you want to talk about later, Barry. I think you know exactly who that team is.
Of course, yes, I know where you're going with that. But focusing on Newcastle then a little bit. So again, looking at the ownership stats, Livramento is the most owned defender.
Wow.
At 9.2%.
Okay.
Elanga is top for midfielders at 5.1. And then Watermine is 4.3% owned at 7.1 million. With Wissa out until mid-October, I actually think Watermaid is a really good, interesting differential. And I think if you have a 7... So, for example, if things don't work out with Isaac, I think that, I could go down to Watermaid and I've got 3 million to spend elsewhere. Maybe upgrade a Josh King or something else. So, and their run looks great. Nick Pope, he's 7.6% owned. That's crazy, actually. None of the Newcastle players are in double digits in terms of ownership.
They've had a very, very bad start. And they're not... I don't think they're that cheap either. Like Sven Botman, 5 million, I think, from memory. They had a bad start fixture-wise, and they've... But no, I do agree that they're overlooked. I think Voltamade, I think in particular. I mean, as I said, I'm pretty set on transferring in Palmer for Semenyo, but I could do João Pedro to Votamade instead. That's something to consider.
Yeah, I mean, this game is the only game in which Nick Pope has scored 2 points or less.
Wow.
Every other game, even the Liverpool game, he got 4 points. Leeds 5. First game of the season with Aston Villa was 9. 8 points Wolves, 6 points Bournemouth. Nick Pope is consistently getting points, so that's why I've gone through him in my wild card. But yeah, I mean, Shah is 5.4 million. That's crazy expensive. So.
Wow. Okay. Right.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, and Botman is 5, Alanga 6.9. Yeah. But yeah, in terms of Arsenal, how did Saka look? I didn't watch the game, so I'm going to rely on you, which is usually a concerning thing.
He didn't have his best game. He got subbed off for Martinelli. The reason I wouldn't panic though is the way that Arsenal scored at the end. They just went proper route one and just kept lumping it. And Marino did a great header. So I wouldn't be too panicked though, because Eddie Howe really sets up Newcastle, and we were still creating good chances even with a very, very compact Newcastle team. And Arsenal at home, they're going to have other good big results for them like they do against Leeds. Well, that's not going to be our only big results at home. West Ham at home, annoyingly they've just got Nuno in. Oh, yeah. if possible, there. My God, that'd be a triple captain targeting fixture. But nevertheless, I still think Arsenal are going to win that game pretty comfortably. So I think, especially as if you look at the other midfielders, Palmer's obviously injured, Fernandes is terrible, which we'll get to later. Who are the Salah is probably not worth his price. Who else are the expensive midfielders in the game? I'm just trying to remember now. I
was going to ask you in terms of the Arsenal midfielders.
Marmoush, Wirtz, Foden, Mbembo, Kuna, Odegaard. Saka's definitely probably the best premium midfielder option right now.
Yeah. So in terms of the midfielders, though, I mean, Eze is currently the most owned midfielder for Arsenal. But it's only scored 16 points. And he doesn't seem to get a consistent start, much to the annoyance of Arsenal.
I wouldn't go for Eze just because of expected minutes. Saka's the one who's gonna play the most minutes. It's rare that he got subbed off. It's rare that he gets subbed off. Saka. If from a midfield perspective, he's the one who's his expected minutes are just significantly higher than anybody else in the team midfield was. Other than Odegaard, provided once he's over from his injury, he came on and got the assist at the end.
Sure. Okay, cool. Cool. So, any other notes on Arsenal before we move on? Any other David Raya?
I just don't like having. I think Rose is a better option than Raya, basically. Fine. So that's basically it.
Cool. Okay, so then we move on to the mighty Sunderland.
Yes.
Who getting their first away win of the season at Nottingham Forest. Meanwhile, Ange Postecoglou remains winless in the league so far, which is great to see. A goal from a 4.0 million defender, which obviously threw people into a state of panic buying.
That crushed me though, because I went.
You went for the other one
because I had to go. Exactly, I have to go differential, don't I? The guy, he's 4 million. He's more likely, as the thing started, that's the same. Of course, I had to go differential, didn't I? But I'm so annoyed with myself. I tried to do a Sunderland defender, and it wasn't anyway. Well, I'll take the 6 points. I'll take the 6 points.
Yeah. And we'll ignore the controversy around the actual free kick, but it was a great goal, good finish, and Sunderland did look dangerous. Xhaka, 20 DEFCONs, what a machine! Easily man of the match in the game. I think he's edging it in terms of being the best 5.0 midfielder in the game, in my opinion, past Shrewsbury Hall and other attacking players in that sort of price. Robin Roofs, he made some incredible saves, like unbelievable. Chris Wood had quite a few chances, but most of them he just put straight towards the keeper or didn't even get it on target. So, there are a few people that still own Chris Wood. Is it an instant sell? Instant sell of all Forest players? Is it still target Forest?
Yes. I mean, it was an instant sell a long time ago. I know he got that brace in game week 1, but like, no, just get rid of all Forest players for now. Maybe, I mean, I still really do like Gibbs White, but Forest just don't look good right now. Just on Xhaka though, so the other team, of course, that you should have triple players for is of course Sunderland. I actually think Roves and Xhaka are both locks. So that's already 2. One of my wildcard drafts, I wasn't allowed to do, Barry, because I had too many Sunderland players. I wanted 4 in my team, and the game had to remind me that you can't do that. So Xhaka's on 29 points. He's equal with Zubamendi. He's equal with Thatcher's got 31. Gardner is bizarrely on 32. I think he scored right against West Ham, and then Cullen at Burnley's on 31, which is interesting. Yeah. But Zubamendi and Stack have both had like these big hauls. Xhaka and Cullen have been accumulating points every week, so I think they're much more reliable options, because I think they're just going to keep ticking along with like your 4s, your 5s, and then we'll do like what you got a 9, or he'll get a double-digit haul. So I think in terms of cheapest options, he's ahead of Reindeers, he's ahead of Dewsbury Hall. I mean, I think he actually is the 5 million midfielder you want. Yeah. The only one who's actually competing with him is Cullen at Burnley, of all people. He's the only one.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just an absolute monstrous performance. I mean, he was also, in classic wind-up mode as well in all the Forest players, which was great to see. So yeah, I do think there are triples to go there. My triple of Sunderland, if I was going there, would be Xhaka and Roos, obviously, but then I go Isidore. I just really like him. I think he's a bit of an old school number 9, but he seems to get in and around it, I think he'd be a nice, fun player to own, and also you could bench him because he's 5.6, so that wouldn't be too much of a worry.
I think if you're wild carding, I don't see why you wouldn't have Roves, Xhaka, and Isidore. They're cheap. They start every week. They're going to get points. And then you can do whatever you want after that. I think it's a very straightforward decision there. As I said, Sunderland, they just look Premier League-y. They just do. Yeah, look like they've been in the division for years, comfortable. They just do.
Yeah, no, agreed. So problems for Forest, as we've mentioned, instant sell, I think, for most players. And for Sunderland, it's up the triple, which is crazy. If we said that at the beginning of the season, most people would be like, what is wrong with you? But we said it first, Stephen. We said it. We said Sunderland would stay up, didn't we? As innovators in this game.
As much as I like to tap ourselves on the back, I don't think they were going to do this well, though. I thought they'd get like 14th, maybe, but no, they are. They're flying. They're flying.
Yeah, they're doing incredibly well, and it's great, because it's kind of like what did you say, like nature is healing or something?
The Premier League is healing. Football Joe, the Premier League is healing.
Nice, cool. Okay, yeah, because I mean, what in terms of the table, aren't they like 5th? Yeah, they're 5th.
Yeah,
Sunderland are 5th. Crazy.
Yeah, Bournemouth are up there as well. Yeah,
Palace,
and again deserved. Like, I don't think. I mean.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can argue with it.
There's no last minute win. No, they got a last minute winner against. They got one last minute, didn't they? Or an equaliser? I can't remember now. But they've looked good. They know their strategy. They're great on the counter attack. Their Premier League position is very justified.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So, what's the next game you wanted to talk about? Are you going to be now going in on Man United or?
Yeah, definitely. Just because obviously it's the stats been going around Twitter, which is Sunderland have 11 Premier League points since Amarin took over. Amarin took over in April. Sunderland have been only in the Premier League since August. Oh, dearie me. I actually met a Man U fan the other day at the pub, and he was just sort of like, do you even enjoy making fun of us anymore? And I'm like, a little bit, but it is starting to get feel like bullying. It's just not, like, they're just so crap. They're so bad. They were awful. Against Brentford. The first goal, I don't know. I know Maguire's getting the lightning rod, but I don't think it's just him. The line doesn't seem to make any sense. He's also, he's slow. Like, that's on Amarim. But yeah, what the hell? Having a triangle of I've never heard of the term back triangle before, and I think that's why you want to have a straight line as a defensive team. I mean, great finish by Thiago though. That was actually really good. If it wasn't for VAR sort of ruined it because everyone assumed he was offside. So the Brent fans didn't really celebrate because they thought I was going to get ruled out anyway. But anyway, it's by the by. They were just really, really shit. I'm sorry. Bruno Fernandes. He was and always will be a terrible FPL pick. 9 million for a DM. No. People go, he's on penalties and he's missed 2 penalties. That's unlucky. First of all, so Man U only had 4 penalties last season. They've had 3, so he's completely officially over. Now, also with penalties, there is always the risk that he missed them. He hasn't scored. He's not got a 100% penalty record. You can argue him only getting 1 out of 3 is unfortunate. But again, he's got high XG, but they've all come from penalties basically. The games where Man U haven't got penalties, his expecting goal involvement is terrible. I do not understand the commitment to Fernandes. It doesn't make any 9 million for somebody who's on penalties when they're not that common. Just watch Man U as well. I don't know if it's a case of they just look at the stats. If you just watch Man U, you would just avoid Fernandes like the plague. Basically, let's be frank, it was a very bad penalty. I'm not giving Kelleher any credit for it. It was a terrible penalty.
I was waiting for that. Because you've got to give Kelleher... No, sorry. You've got to give Kelleher some credit for that. Because he still has to save it.
A little bit of credit. But honestly, I don't know what... Someone can maybe explain it to me. I do not understand some of the FPL, especially around Fernandes. Penalties aren't that common. He's playing as a DM. Man U is shit. He's 9 million. I mean, do you have the argument? I don't get it. I honestly don't get it at all.
No, I know. I was tempted to bring him in on wildcard, but
why?
I didn't. Well, I think just because.
But
why? Because he does have the ability to go off. If he scores that penalty, he gets 8-9 points. I mean, it's a different conversation, isn't it? Right, and potentially they could go on to win the game, and if they're going to, he is their best player. So he's probably going to be involved. And I know that he's a DM. I know that. But in those games when they are chasing the game, and it seems like United are chasing the game an awful lot, it means that he is going to be constantly involved. But I think it was also interesting. Sesko got the goal, 3rd time of asking. So that was good for him to get off the mark. But I mean, this is the thing with United. There's always going to be a lot of fluff around it in terms of, people talking about defensive errors in the team. And, there's rumours this morning I saw of Amarin resigning rather than being sacked, which is mental to me. But why don't we talk about Thiago at Brentford, because I think he's worth a shout out. 6 million, 2 goals.
6 million.
Seems like a good differential pick, don't you think?
And 2 good goals. 2 good goals, actually. I mean, I said this first strike, what a lovely finish. Really, really good. Half volley, nice clean connection. Very, very nice. He just plays for Brentford, though. That's the problem. And I know Brentford are pretty decent going forward, but let's put it this way. I'm not... Okay, so when Semenyo got a brace against Liverpool, people brought him in because Moneyball, it's about not just when you score, it's who you score against. So Semenyo getting 2 goals at Anfield, that's big. That shows what a player he is. He's able to get a brace in that game. Thiago got 2 goals against Man U. I mean, on a Moneyball perspective, I'm not that impressed, to be honest.
That's so insulting to United.
Despite me. Is it? I mean, they're just, I'm sorry. Since Amarin's come in, they're 17th. And bearing in mind that the only 3 that have beaten them were obviously Leicester, Southampton, and who else went down last season?
Leicester,
who's it?
Leicester, Burnley, Ipswich.
Sheffield United again? I can't remember.
Ipswich.
Anyway, Ipswich. Sorry. And who were absolutely horrendous. In other words, if Amarin, let's be frank. If Amarin keeps up this form, given that. Okay, it looks like Wolves and West Ham are not going to turn it around. They're genuinely in big trouble. Yeah. If you discounted 3 of the worst teams the Premier League has ever seen, actually, I was being very harsh on Ipswich there. That's just not good. I'm sorry. What? I don't. I mean, I know you don't want to say someone to be too piss takey, but facts are facts. 28% win percentage. They look terrible. Again, Sunderland have got the same points as them, even though they've been in the Premier League as long as every stat, every single stat looks bad. This actually isn't piss taking anymore. This is just they're not good. They're just fundamentally not good. And I don't really know what else to say there. They're just not very good. It's not even a rant. It's a case of just because of the badge, we're just very reluctant to see them as what they are. They finished 16th last season. Before that, they've just been poor for a very, very long time. For a very, very long time. And if you were to just to remove the badge and put a West Ham badge on it or a Wolves badge, people wouldn't have any hesitation in saying how poor they are. Yeah. So we need to look past the badge and accept they're just not great. It's as simple as that.
Cool. Well, I think we should focus on Brentford a little bit. I know that
sure.
It's Brentford. Do you want to guess who? Admittedly, he's joint top. Who is their top scoring midfielder in the game?
Schade?
Nope. Schade's
it's going to be Jordan Henderson, isn't it?
It is Jordan Henderson. Jordan Henderson, 21 points, 5 million. Is he a must-have, Stephen?
No. I'm not even going to get baited into that. He's got the Sunderland blood, which is encouraging, but no. Absolutely to be fair,
nearly got you.
His assist was very nice. To be fair to him, his assist was very nice. I'll give him credit for that. But at the same time, Man U were terrible. I would. Okay, I mean, Thiago. I think he scored in some other games as well. He is 6 million, so he's one to consider. But given Isidore is 5.5,
yeah, I'd rather Isidore over.
Yeah. So that's a very easy decision.
So no Brentford players interest you at all?
Nope.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next game I wanted to talk about, which was Leeds against Bournemouth. It finished with a Desmond, and Leeds were quite unlucky not to get the 3 points in this game. I thought they played really, really well. Sean Longstaff seems to be like what do you call it, the Yorkshire Perlo?
I didn't call him that. That's the old name for Calvin Phillips. Sorry.
Yeah, they were New Yorkshire Perlo. And yeah, look, Bournemouth were very lucky to get the equaliser to get it to 2-2. But what I find interesting about this game is, we've said many times on this pod, Bournemouth are a good team. Their manager's a good team, a good manager. They've got good players, they're good, well organised. And the fact that Leeds were able to take it to them, again, it's kind of similar to what we've said about Sunderland. Yeah. It's very Premier League-y. It seems to suggest that Leeds, they did have they didn't have a great deal of possession. They conceded a lot of chances, so people will be able to score against them. Like if you've got Spurs assets, I wouldn't be shying away from playing them, but I would, because they're playing this week. But I would be shying away about playing their defenders. That's why I'm thinking about benching Van der Ven, because I think that Leeds will score, and they will try and make their home ground a fortress. Joe Rondon, 4.0, got the goal. Defensive returns.
I also have a receipt. I recommended somebody on a wild card to do Rondon over Goodmanson and Esteve. I have a receipt for that somewhere, so I didn't say it on the pod annoyingly, but I even wrote his name down. No, I have a receipt. I even wrote his name down, but I have a dated text message that you can see to prove the point. But anyway,
fantastic. Well, he only finished on the 7 points, but he is starting to tick along quite nicely with a few DEFCONs as well. Yeah. I've always liked him. He was at Spurs for a bit, but he was just a very average defender. But I think as a 4.0, he's definitely worth a shout. He's got 29 points at the moment. So yes.
So from memory, Goodmanson averages about 7 DEFCONs to get him. Rondon's 9. So that was part of the reason why I preferred him. Because the difference was that ironically, Goodmanson obviously has as a fullback as more of an attacking threat, but it wasn't averaging 0.5 expected average assist per game or anything like that. So that's why Rondon is, out of the two of them, is probably the better pick, because Goodmanson will get an assist or maybe even a goal at some point, but over the course of the season, even with that game aside, Rondon's going to outscore him, I would have thought. Yeah,
I think Rondon's, there's some value there definitely in the Leeds lineup. I think it's worth saying, Leeds are going to be no pushover at home. So I would be a bit nervous to captain players away to Leeds. Maybe Haaland, right?
Oh, 100%.
But I saw a few people were talking about captaining Semenyo away. And I just thought that was a bit risky, and he obviously got the goal, so like fair play to those people that did it. And Semenyo is obviously I think the must-have for Bournemouth in your teams. Leeds will not be easy to beat for anyone.
They're doing it very differently to Sunderland, but Sunderland just were able to get. I mean, the fact that they got Granit Xhaka is ridiculous. Like how they did that, fair play to them. Nevertheless, they're basically what Luton were with more ability. So they're obviously very much a in your face kind of style. Quite aggressive, but they've got some decent players. They've got players who can do things like the other. And then they've scored. Their scoring record's decent enough. Leeds are going to be fine. I mean, let's not get ahead. I think let's not get ahead of ourselves. They're not going to come top half, but they're going to be very comfortable. As I say, their goal is just to be a better Luton. So aggressive, in your face, tall team, but with enough ability to score goals, and therefore they should be fine. No, they're far from a team that you target versus a Wolves, a West Ham, a Nottingham Forest, and there's definitely more teams you want to target over them.
No, for sure. I think it's actually probably the first time we're talking about, again, the promoted clubs being decent in terms of assets to purchase. Sean Longstaff is interesting. He got a goal and an assist in this game, but he is a DM. He got 15 points in this game. He got 13 DEFCONs. He's 4.9 million. He's 0.4% owned. They do have an okay run. Would you be tempted?
No, I remember him at Newcastle. Fair enough that he's done better, but I remember him at Newcastle. No, basically. Fair play to him for getting a haul, but that will very much be that. As when he got a brace wherever it was against the other day, I wouldn't be bringing him in either. You've got to be very careful. There's always one player out there who'll do something. You're like, no. That he's had his haul. Fair play to the lad, but that's it. That'll be his only haul of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Are there any attacking assets from Leeds that do appeal?
From an FPL perspective, no, exactly. I do quite like obviously Gudmundsson and Roland just because of their price. Attacking wise, I mean, Statch is obviously pretty good again for the price. I'm not getting drawn in on Calvert-Lewin. I'm just not falling for that. No, probably not. As I said, I think they're going to be fine, but I don't think they're going to be flying either. So I think Rondon and Gudmundsson, just because of their price, they're interesting. Maybe Statch, but no further than that, I would say.
Fair enough. So, let's move on to the next. Did you have another game you wanted to talk about? I assume it was the Villa.
Just quickly. I mean, just on Burnley, Man City. I know it was 5-1. Burnley do need to. I wouldn't be panicking too much about Burnley. Haaland just Haaland them. So they actually looked relatively comfortable, and then ball into the box. Haaland just outmuscled the whole team, headed it down, and then they lost confidence again. I wouldn't. But that fight again, they got 2 goals in injury time. Basically, I wouldn't be too panicked about Burnley. I think their midfielders like Cullen and I think Anti's a forward on the game, right? They are still interesting assets. Don't panic too much about that defeat if you're considering them or have them already. But quickly on Aston Villa Fulham. Are Villa back is the question? Probably not. Fulham were really poor after the goal. Really just gave up. Why? I don't know. I guess their players don't want to move to Birmingham, I suppose, which is fair enough. But they were really poor after the goal. It was a good header by Jimenez, so I believe he went off injured again, didn't he? Which is a real shame.
Really early on as well.
Yeah. Leno was really poor, uncharacteristically poor in that game as well. So I'm not jumping on Villa being back yet. Fulham again. Why I don't know, but they were really poor in that game. Leno in particular. So if you're considering your Watkins and people like that, again, I would be avoiding.
Yeah, and there was a moment in the game where Josh King made a run through and was completely clattered, and it should have been a pen. and it was gone against him, and he's got a yellow card for simulation. And I look back at it, that's so unlucky. You know, that he got done at Chelsea for some nonsense, and he's been done again here. Like it's
yeah, but he also did like the worst dive the other week, and I remember Bellerin ages ago. He got done for a foul throw, even though every Premier League football player foul throws, and he just got done for it every game. Basically, once you're in the referee's head for something, diving. Like remember that guy Johnson who played for Palace and Everton. Once he was known as a diver, he never got a penalty ever again. So lessons to the kids out there: make your first Premier League dive a good one. Otherwise, you're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, but it was an interesting game. I don't think Villa are back necessarily. I think they've still got some issues around that. Maybe it's just a case of Fulham not really caring. It's not really a game that's really going to excite them.
Really bad, actually. They were honest off the gut. They were really, really poor. Very, very poor.
But Anderson once again has got DEFCONs. He seems to be ticking on quite nicely. Some people have had him as a set and forget 4.5. Would he interest you if you were looking at sort of rearranging your 4.5s?
Very honestly, considering that you've got Alderete, you've got Rodon and Goodmanson, I think there are better options for less. And 4.5, I mean, Gay's obviously gone up in price now as well, as is Sensi, but you can get Truffer at Bournemouth, who we both still have. Yeah. No, I think there's better options at 4.5, and not just one. There's quite a few better options for either the same money or less.
Yeah, fair enough. And Watkins finally got a goal. Forgetting about whether Villa are back, is Watkins back?
No. Again, the key thing to take away from this game is that Fulham were just very, very bad. I'm not considering a single Villa player after watching that game. No, none of them basically. This is sort of the long and short of it. Not much more to say than that.
Well, that concludes our review of the games, and I hope that has made some sense. And now we're going to move on to our middling, rogue, and strong shouts. So, Stephen, you might have revealed your hand earlier. Who have you gone for?
You're going to hate me for this, but my banker is Gyökeres, and I know where this is coming, but he's been okay, and Arsenal have a good run now, especially some good home fixtures. The goals are coming with Gyökeres. That being said, if he doesn't do well against West Ham, he's gone from my team. So he is in last chance saloon. But
if he doesn't score against West Ham, what's he doing? But then it could be Nuno's turn it around for West Ham. He's done it before. He can do it again.
Yeah, but as I said, I know I'm going to get a bit of flack for that, but Gyökeres is scoring in the West Ham game. He's going to go on a good run. Arsenal fixtures have turned. Get Gyökeres into your team. My middling one, which you might say is probably more of the banker, is actually Sarr at Crystal Palace. Again, he's cheap. He's a great player. I don't know what he gets forward for Palace. Mateta likes to drop back a little bit. He got into really, really big chance positions. He's scored well this season. What's not to like, really?
Yeah.
And then my rogue shout is actually not a player, because the players I've already mentioned is a lot, but the rogue of it is the captaincy shout. And so the rogue shout is to captain Granit Xhaka away at Man U. So now again, I must concede that's rogue. Bearing in mind I have Haaland, who has Brentford, Gyökeres at home to West Ham. There's a few other options I have. I'm also going to bring Semenyo in, who are Fulham at home. So again, I've got this. This is why it's rogue. But Man U are terrible, but they will still attack. So Xhaka's DEFCON's confirmed. He loves scoring against Man U. He scored more goals against Man U than he has any other team, as all Arsenal fans can tell you. He hasn't got a goal yet, but he's been chipping along with assists. His goal is coming, and he would love. You can see him scoring at Old Trafford, can't you? Sunderland probably haven't won there since 1902 or something. Granit Xhaka, brace, maybe an assist thrown in for a nice Sunderland 3-0 win. You know, it's
3-0 win.
Stars, isn't it?
So you're going for
maybe not that strong, but
bold.
But again, it's a rogue shout. He's currently my captain now. I hope I have the bottles to go through with it, but I probably.
Oh, you're actually going to go through with it?
Probably not, but I'd like to hope that I can. I'd like to believe. I'm going to do what Fernando does: get drunk before I pick my team, and then that will give me the courage to captain.
Nice. We don't recommend that, listeners and viewers, but it is for entertainment. Cool. So my banker is Enzo Fernandez. 6.7 million, 13.7% owned. He's just ticking along very nicely. Just doing the business, getting the defcons, scoring goals. He's on corners. He's sometimes on pens. I think he's just a very reliable 6.5. I think definitely me. Actually, I underestimated the importance of defcons and the defensive midfielders that would be there. And I think what's becoming quite clear is, your Andersons and of Nottingham Forest, that is, and those holding midfielders, they actually have a great deal of weight in the game now. So I think Enzo Fernandez is my banker for that reason. Consistent starter, he's just going to be one of those guys that's going to tick along nicely in your team. My middling...
They have a very good run as well. Chelsea.
Yeah, they do.
Very good run. They've got Liverpool next, but after that's pretty tasty.
But I still would start Enzo at home to Liverpool because I think that he could still get the defcons and he could still potentially get a goal. My middling is Richarlison. 17.2% owned, 6.8 million. It seems like Solanke's back in training, but I'm not sure. I said this a couple of game weeks ago. I'm not sure he'll start this side of the international break. So I think Richarlison's an interesting one. We've got Leeds away next, and then I can't remember who we've got after this, but we've got an okay run for us. And then my rogue shout, Stephen, and only because he got an assist last week, and those points aren't going to chase themselves, is Morgan Rogers of Aston Villa. Because Aston Villa have been so bad, that's why it's rogue. Last season he was a banker, right, all day long. But with that assist, I'm hoping it's the start of something interesting and potentially it could be a real nice one to bring in. He's 6.9 million, only 5.8% owned. That ownership really interests me. So yes, Stephen, what do you think of my shouts?
I mean, obviously, fair enough. The other two, I guess, with Richarlison, they're just coming back from northern Norway or something like that. So maybe not. Yeah. I think Spurs have a decent. It's not the best, but it's also not the worst run. Fair enough. So they're probably fine. But yeah, Morgan Rogers. No. He was actually quite bad in that game. His assist was quite fluky from memory, but he seems to have a really heavy first touch, which is very rare. Like he was pretty poor. So I like that you're missing that those points aren't going to chase themselves, and it's probably some emotional thing. Young English kid, you want him to do well, but I would be avoiding Morgan Rogers and all Villa players.
Fair enough. Cool. Well, we will wrap it up there then. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Big thanks to Rita for helping us with the editing of the pod and running it. Please do give us a like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on Instagram, YouTube, and everywhere else that we are putting out ridiculous content. So all that's left for us to say is have a good week, everyone, and good luck with game week 7. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.